I nerded out.
The
Oh
target's
shit.
tracking, might as well.
Oh yeah.
So you were saying about Texas starships?
Yes, there was this Texas Starship and the New Jersey and the like. I don't. It was really cool to see that and to see my favorite bromance, fucking Jordy, and I'm giving it away because you won't watch it, but Data. They somehow. I know he's dead. He was dead, but
Because he blew.
area or section 30, what's the secret society, the secret like FBI CIA people, area or a section.
Section 31.
Yes. So Section 31 has a station where they keep all the cool secret shit, called Daystrom, and they basically use
It's not a secret. Go ahead. Keep talking.
whatever. What the fuck? No, wrong Daystrom. Ha ha ha. You don't know that. The Daystrom you're
Danger
thinking
was
of is in
named after a
Okinawa.
scientist, though. You can't just go ahead.
Listen,
Go ahead.
Daystrom Station, and they have all these cool shit, this cool shit, all the cool shit locked away, like from like back in the day. They got Kirk's body somehow in a little thingy. They got like little like Easter egg shit. It's basically like a locked away part of that they just keep. I don't know, random cool shit from Star Trek history, and even the little fur ball thing from the old Star Trek
Dribbles.
tribbles. They have a tribble locked away. It's pretty cool.
That
Tell
just
me.
gonna piss me off more because they probably just put stuff in there that they liked instead of like thinking about where the fuck they would have gotten it. And
No. They did think hard. They
they
did
do
think.
not. So far, all they've ever proven is they have not actually really watched Star Trek. They just kind of find stuff online and go, "Oh, that would probably be cool," because none of them know the history of shit, and that has been proven over and over again by all these motherfuckers that run Star Trek now.
But have you watched it?
So I've watched enough. I watched
No,
Discovery.
no.
I watched the
I've
first
listened to
season of Picard.
everybody's reviews.
The first season of Picard, and I know they already fucked up androids so bad that it's insane.
Keep going. Just swallow it and keep going. It's like me with the first season of Deep Space Nine. I was like, fuck this. And then I just opened my mind and I trusted you, and Deep Space Nine was fucking awesome. But at first, I shut down and said, "This is bullshit," and I continued
But
to
all
watch.
Star Trek start off pretty bad in the first season. That's why I watched the second season.
Ah,
And the second season of Discovery was somehow fucking worse.
keep
And then
watching.
the third season
You're
was so
talking
bad
about
I couldn't.
you're talking about Discovery. I
And
said Picard.
Picard was bad, and I couldn't get to the second season of freaking Picard because it's like they don't care that the
Just watch
people should be trying to solve their problems by talking stuff out and dealing with shit and dealing with ethical
Picard.
problems. They just want to
Picard
blow
does
things
do
up
that.
and kung fu kick people. And I'm like, no, go to Star Wars and do that shit. And not in a Trek. You don't do that in a Trek. Sorry,
Mhm.
sorry. It's just how I feel. But I'll watch it. I'll end up watching it. I just kind of want them to cancel it first. I want it to be done, so I'm not actually like giving them numbers. I don't want to give them
Oh,
numbers.
Picard. This is the farewell. They're done after this. This is
I
just
want
the
to
this is
make
the
sure
last
because
hurrah.
they said that in the last season. They weren't. They're like, we're gonna do one more, and I'm like, okay, well, no, I'm not gonna watch it until you're fucking done.
Well, I'm glad they weren't done after season two, because to see Geordie the Forge and his boy Data, and they both have little hearts in their eyes, just made me happy. It just made me
Yeah.
happy.
I also had an issue with what they did with
Aw.
things. I don't know what they did with Worf. But why they age him so much? Did they explain that? Why they aged him way more than a Klingon should be aged? Did they
He
even think
looks
about
still
that?
looks good. And he's like more fit than he was on in the originals.
Talking about all the white hair and shit, like he's 60 or 70-year-old fucking Klingon instead of something that's like.
And he's sexy like Eric.
Did they ever like sit there and go, why is he aged so much?
Because he was up on a mountain, the motherfucker's been meditating. He meditates now.
It doesn't make any sense why it aged so much, but okay. So it just
Well,
drove me nuts. Did they all have
listen, he's had a long life. He's had a hard life, man.
maybe I'm just saying they could have. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. They could have just. They just need to pick one person like me. It doesn't have to be me. There's plenty of Star Trek fans out there. Just pick one person like me that goes, "Well, you can't do that because on this episode this happened, and so to do that, you're going to at least have to explain why it's so freaking different now." That's all I would like. He could have picked one fucking Star Trek fan in his. God damn it. Just one fan. One person who loves Star Trek. All I want to be in the writer's room to be like, you can't do that. It doesn't make sense.
No, no, no. It's beautiful the way it is.
No, it's not. It is not.
It is. It is.
Okay. Welcome to Sake and Sumo. I'm Caleb. This is my boy
I'm
Justin.
Justin.
I'm sorry we're arguing so much. We should be entertaining and funny like sumo punks. Instead, we're arguing about Star Trek.
Hey,
But that's who we are.
nerd life.
Nerd
Cheers.
life. So I'm here today to talk about sumo and how wonderful and
Whoa.
heartbreaking it could be at the same time.
Yeah, it was all those things in this basho.
Yes, both me and Justin had our hearts broken.
I
We both
my
really
little
enjoyed the end of
heart.
the tournament.
Yeah, you know what? Minus my personal disappointment, I wanted it. I wanted it to go a certain way, but we ended up. I mean, you end up where you end up, but it was it ended up solid. Like we had, like I didn't really see Kiribayama winning the whole thing by like around day 12, but shit, it is, and we got a playoff, and I mean it was good. It wasn't just this blowout where like, oh, okay, Daisha won and then it was over. Like everyone loves a playoff, and we got that, and we almost got a double playoff.
True.
I
It was
almost
really
had a
close
double.
to being called the Tornioshi there on the playoff. That was like they were like, oh, that was close.
Yeah,
But they made the right call in my opinion, so good for them.
yeah.
It was a great tournament. For those who don't know, Kiribiyama won that sucker. That's his first U show, and he did it at Sekawake. And so he's on his way. This is a good start to the Nozeki run. With the U show in hand, there is precedence to only get 32 wins. So if he gets 9 wins the next tournament, he probably is in because there's a lot of precedence about that. Shodai did that, Asanami Yama did that. If you get 32, you're pretty much like, okay, and a U show, it's like that's kind of like 33, 34. So yeah, we're just gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
And
And if Shodai can do it,
I mean, yeah, and also that was just, I mean, it's not like they are hurting for people on top. Takakeisho, Ozeki, and Tenno Fuji at Yokozuna all the time. We can't really do that.
Well, but they got to be careful because then they might run into this kind of desperation thing, like old school, like Kisano Sato, where they were so desperate for somebody to be a Japanese Yokozuna. They were just like, fuck it. Which I no shade to Kisano Sato because he was
that wasn't his fault.
Ozeki. Huh?
I mean, he freaking tore his pectoral muscle to the point where he couldn't return again. That really wasn't his fault. In fact, he won that U show that first freaking time as Yokozuna. It just he couldn't come back from that injury. I mean, at least not in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
The thing in sumo that's not in any other sport. Think about that in any other sport where someone's like, well, I know you're going to be gone for 2 or 3 years, but we're cool. Just wait till you come back and you're ready. You can't do that in sumo. You can't. You're going to just gone.
I mean, Kiribayama will make a great Ozeki. Is there someone who just glows like Hakuho? Like, I feel like the idea of Yokozuna, I don't know. Everybody's got really cool presence. Hoshoryu, fucking Wakataka Kage, Takakeisho. All these people have these amazing things that shine about them. But the consistency of just phenomenal, like you just know, as long as they're not injured, you're like, oh shit, this dude's taking the whole fucking thing. I don't know. Do you honestly feel that
I don't
Yoko's got a buzz about anybody right now?
I don't think we need another Hakuho. I think we need another Kakaru, or, we need someone that's like gonna win us like 6 or 7. We need someone like Terunofuji. We don't need. I mean, Terunofuji did great until his injuries got too bad, and so he's missed a few. But before that, he was what we want. He was there. He was hard to beat. He was scary as hell. He got like,
Mhm.
what, he got like 7 freaking titles now. That's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So that's what we need. I know everybody wants a Hakuho, but you're not going to get that. I doubt we're going to even get you know,
Just
Chernobyl
a
or
guy who goes on a at least as a Yokozuna, I don't know, 5-year run and wins U shows 50% of wins the whole U show at least 50 to 60% of the maybe even just 50% of the year. 3 U shows out of 6 every year. That's not asking a lot. Like even I mean lesser guys, Haruma Fuji, yeah, and Kakuyu, like just
Haku
I
had
don't
6. Hanafuji, I don't remember how many he had right now. But I don't need that either. I just want.
know.
Let me put this way. I was more excited back in the 90s and early 2000s when guys there were Yokozunas, but you knew they weren't going to win all the time. But there was because there was also good Ozekis and there are good people up and down that were just going to be awesome. So like, and yet you still have guys who are awesome. Like Akibono had 11. How many did? Shit. I shouldn't start drinking before we started doing this because then
Uh,
brain slips. But like you had guys who had some good amount of U shows, and you can do that without having to have that guy that just is going to get 3 or 4 or 5 a year. I'm like, that gets boring to me. It's like watching the Patriots for 20 years in football. They're just like, okay, yeah, they're going to win that Super. Okay, great, wonderful. I don't care anymore. That's what it feels like. It must be what non-Yankee fans felt like in the 50s when they won something like 10 straight freaking World Series. It was like, this is boring. It's like you need
it's I don't it's not like to me, watching the rise of Hakuho was like, how does this guy keep doing this? Like kind of thing. Like that's
and
that or like a Michael Jordan or something. You just
that's
these people who just defy odds where you're like, there's no way. And then right at a clutch moment, you're like, oh, that he's totally out. What the fuck? How do they pull this off? Like these weird edge things and just make everybody go fucking ape shit. And I
that's awesome. But
we have like one or two ape shit moments in a basho, but we don't get a dude who's just guaranteed to be like, now how the fuck is he gonna pull this off? Like, I don't know.
I want people who have competition.
Yeah.
You brought up Michael Jordan. I like Michael Jordan, but I mean he's the greatest of all time. But I also really liked before him in the 80s you had Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And they were you didn't know which one's going to win the title. You knew they were going to go for it, but there was two of them, so it wasn't like they did one at a time. Or in the early 2000s, you had Tim Duncan and the Spurs, and you had Kobe and the
Oh fuck
Lakers,
yeah.
and that was fucking awesome too because they were like going back and forth. I think they both ended up. I think Kobe had
Oh,
five.
I don't mind having two greats. But I mean, can I get one first and then another and then have this rivalry? Yeah, a two greatness is better than one. Like that'd be amazing.
I just don't want to go back to the the days of we knew the Mongolians were going to win, and it was so boring to me that I kind of stopped watching sumo for like almost a decade because it was like, yeah, one of those guys are going to win, and I just fucking didn't care. And I like it right now. This is the best sumo I've seen in a long time, just because I don't know who's going to win. It's fantastic. Every day I'm like, oh, he just dropped one. Oh no. Well, that puts these guys in the lead. What's going to happen next? I don't know. Even with this one, my heart was ripped out because Taki Keisho, my boy, dropped out, and I knew he had to because his knee was messed up for like 3 days, and he was still fighting. But my God, man, it was so fun to watch at the end. All these people that I wasn't sure. Each day
It
I
was a,
wasn't sure.
it was a lot of knee injuries. Not a lot of knee injuries, but I think this basho 3 knee injuries.
It was pretty bad. We'll go to the Andrews in a second. I want to talk about drinking here for a little bit. Go ahead, talk about your St. Elmo
Oh,
fire beer.
so we have. Oh, I don't know. This is called the Chuck, like Chuck Berry, the rock and
Nice.
the
Chuck
rock and roll.
Berry. Yes, that
Yep.
makes sense.
Chuck Berry is rock and roll. So it is a sour ale. Oh shoot, let me put my hold on, my computer is about to die.
Uh-oh.
We don't want that in the stream.
Edit this.
No, no, no.
And
So yes, this is it's called the Chuck, and it is a sour beer from St. Elmo's, and that's pretty much the only. Now that I've dabbled back for a couple of years, I didn't touch beer. I was just drinking sake all the time, and this is my first dabble back into beer. I used to be an IPA guy, but my first dabble back into beer was sours,
here.
and I'm into it. So,
Actually, I kind of
that
want.
already.
I really kind of want to try it just because Chuck Berry,
Yeah.
because I'm a huge
A
fan
lot
of
of
it.
cool little, they have a lot of cool little pictures of him in different positions, I suppose.
I
That's cool.
I don't believe I don't believe music is an invention as much as an evolution. So I hate when people say this person invented this or this person invented that. But the closest person you can fit to in inventing rock and roll was probably Chuck Berry. He was the closest person to doing that whole thing.
Yeah.
So like I'm a big, but again, I think rock and roll is evolution because yeah, he
Yeah.
did a lot of cool
All
shit.
out of blues and
But
everything evolves
he
from
did, yeah,
something.
because he was a country singer who also sang the blues,
Yeah.
and he mixed the two, and rock and roll kind of came about. But also, Little Richard was very important. Buddy Holly was the guy who didn't have these big bands, so he played chords differently, and they're called power chords, and they're very normal now. And so Buddy Holly is a huge part of rock and roll. And what's rock and roll without the Beatles? You know, it's rock and roll, and all music is the evolution. It like builds
Yeah.
things. I don't like people saying, "Oh, well, this person invented this." I'm like, I went off on a little music we're not tangent there. We are not sumo punks. We're sorry, sumo punks. We're not trying to get into your area of expertise.
My bugs.
But as I told my boy just a little while ago, looked in my fridge to see what I was going to drink tonight. So all these beers left over from parties, cookouts, get-together that people left at my house.
He's literally got a bucket of beer.
And so I just grabbed them all, and I'm gonna be drinking them through the night. So you might be seeing me just pull up, you know, random alcohol like David Murray, his girlfriend leaves these little ciders. So I drank just
Oh, that's it.
this one.
What about the Mike Tyson one?
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, sorry.
We will get there. And, but this one right here is my own beer.
Hey.
Myself. This is the last of this, and tomorrow I'm going to start a new beer plus a new cider. I've had Justin here have a bottle of my cider before. Justin, if you still have that bottle, I could use it back actually, because I'm gonna have to make some soon.
I never throw away bottles. I probably like when they're good bottles. I probably have some, or I might have used it also for my brewing.
It's either way. I mean,
Watch
if
out,
you find it sometime next 6 weeks, because if I start tomorrow, it's not gonna be another 6 weeks before I even get to that point. But yeah, so I'm drinking that sucker, and I got more coming. And I make these mainly for my brother, who has this yearly annual St. Jude's raising pig roast thing. He cooks pigs in the ground. He makes a bunch of food from scratch with live music in his backyard out in the middle of nowhere. And he raises money for St. Jude's. And all of the Austin freaking sumo, Dark Circle sumo should be coming to that this year. I'll give you all dates and times.
Yes.
All come drink.
Several of us have gone to see Caleb's brother perform at a honky tonk. Well, I'm not really. It's not, I wouldn't call it a honky tonk. What would you?
Kind of a honky tonk, or at least close to the one you got nowadays.
Yeah, true.
But Cade is also doing this thing where he runs marathons for St. Jude's. And he's trying to do this thing where he's going to run 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 different continents.
That will never
Yeah.
happen in my lifetime.
Raise something like 75 grand for it. So I will probably find the link and put it in our description.
Yeah.
And if you can, either share it, either give money or share it around to people because I'm trying to get him to get that 75 because it'd be cool. Hell,
Mhm.
even just doing the Antarctica one is cool because I didn't know there was a marathon in Antarctica until he told me about it. Isn't
I
that
mean,
awesome?
there's like dog sledding.
Okay, so back to knee injuries. So yes, Takeshi had to pull out on day 6 after going 3-3 because on day 3 he'd hurt his knee against, I believe, Shodai or somebody. He just hurt it, and he wrestled for 2 more days, but it obviously bothered him, and so he dropped out. And online, a lot of people say he dropped out because he was tired of losing. But I was like, okay, sure, that's not really his thing, but okay. I doubt it, dude.
I know, I doubt it.
Because
No,
on day 2,
he's
2 months,
Mr. Sumo. He's Mr. If anybody's got the Ozeki or Yokozuna swag, it'd be him.
he's
Like
the
the energy, the like or not the pride.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that I don't remember the word they have for in Japan, but that thing where you're kind of solemn, you know, I don't really show emotions, but I'm gonna kick everybody's ass thing that they
Yeah.
like from their Yokozunas. That Hakuho did not have, but it was awesome anyway because he was a bad motherfucker. He was Hakuho. But yeah, so there was that one, and there was the other knee injuries, but the worst one, the one that's breaking my heart again, my heart got broken twice.
Waka.
Waka, oh, Waka
Uh,
Waka, he
you
hurt.
know, did they say like I haven't looked it up or anything? Did they say how bad of an
We're gonna
injury?
get to that, but first I want to say you knew it was bad to begin with because at Sekiwake he was at 7 and I believe it was 7-6, and he
Mhm.
had to drop out, which
Yeah.
drops the last two things. So he went from 7-6 to 7-8, which means
Puts
he's
him
going
like,
down.
but not far down because there were so many people that did so much shittier than him.
I agree with the shittier part, but it's not easy to get to Sekiwake to begin with. Remember, remember Haas was there for forever because he was getting 8 and 9 wins, but there was no room for him. So
Yeah, yeah.
that 10 win thing, he was just stuck there.
But
Uh,
think about it, who's in that mid tier that they could bump back up? A lot of the people who were at the higher my gosh the 1 and 2 and were doing didn't do super well
no,
versus some of the lower guys, Hokuseiho, a couple guys in the lower half did do fairly well. So I
some
don't
people in the joy are
know.
dropping down, and we're probably gonna get new people in the joy. The joy being that M5 or M6 to M1 who usually
Yeah.
get to fight the Senyaku. We're gonna get new people in that, in my opinion. I don't know who yet, of course, because I'm not a big Bonzuki fan like some people. I don't go crazy on it, but I just pay attention.
What's
But
the name from Grand
Sumo,
Sumo? He's a genius at guessing who's going to be on the Banzuke.
he is, but we're not gonna let him know that.
I
Shh.
mean, I mean, so are we. We just look at our crystal ball and
But okay, so this is how bad I knew it was bad to begin with. This is how bad a lot of reports are saying, and none of them are confirmed. I want to say that, but a lot of reports are saying he might be out for 3 months, which means he's missing the next tournament as well.
yo, what?
That's how bad it was.
3 months?
Yes,
I mean, I guess the weight of who was he fighting on that match? I think it was Ryuden, or who did he fight?
don't remember. It was
It was an interesting turn. Like it didn't look so extreme.
no, because he won the match.
He did win the match, but it was the weight. Like his right leg stayed in, and then he turns the guy. So, but the guy's weight came into him while his knee stayed there. So I don't know if it was because the knee stayed or because the foot stayed planted, and then that like in the turn, maybe it I don't know, it twisted the knee, and then maybe he tore a ligament. I don't know, but like, hopefully we'll hear some reports. But jeez,
That is the preliminary stuff that I'm hearing. 3 months, which means
three
he will miss the next one, which means he's going to drop pretty far down. Not
and
really, really far down, but pretty far down. and he has to work his way back up, which sucks because if you know the show, we picked him to be the next Ozeki as future part one,
Yes.
and Haas being future part two to be the next Ozeki. We assumed that those were gonna be the next two guys.
And we were right, minus an injury. I fairly in their trajectory.
It hurt though, right? It freaking hurt when I saw him go out. It's just like,
But maybe his brother will take his place. Maybe we read the tea leaves a little wrong.
Wakata Kage is something special in my opinion.
Yes,
Like
he
his style of sumo is just so gorgeous to watch. I wish I could fight that good. I wish a lot of people could fight that good.
is.
The way his knees stay bent, that's what I'm worried about. His knees stay bent, like he can hold his weight up in ways that most people his size can't. Like they're bent, and it's like their knees were made out of titanium or something. Just and he gets that mean Osuke in, like gorgeous. Always gets that sucker in there,
Yeah.
perfect. Oh,
But
okay.
on the flip side, Hoshoryu, he didn't look amazing the last two basho, it's a little it starts off a little he finishes well, but it starts off a little chaotic. It's almost like like a Toby like kind of like a Tobizaru start off ish. I don't know, it's a little
Start great.
unstructured. He doesn't seem like sturdy until he gets a certain grip, and then he feels a lot more confident, and then boom, then he does all this cool technical shit. But he does that, super hard stare down. But like for his size, I'd say fucking even Midori Fuji goes in harder on a Tachiai than he does.
That happens with a lot of technical belt wrestlers, though. They don't want to come in hard. It's why I think uh Austin has issues with Tachiai sometimes because his Tachiai is hard as hell, but he doesn't always come off like that. He didn't always come off like hitting people as hard as he can. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And so does Shodai at the same time, did the same thing. Shodai has a mean ass Tachiai, but we almost never see him use it. Some people who like to do the belt wrestling for some reason don't always think I need to hit first and then get the belt. Uh, that's not everybody. You're a belt fighter. You come off and you hit people hard. You understand that first hit is usually needs to be hard, unless you're trying to be tricky and flashy. But that's other stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
then you lose a whole nationals.
yeah, yeah. So there's
Anyway,
that stuff. But most guys, there's an issue with that, and I've noticed that for forever. Like if guys who love the belts don't always come off hard, but when they do, when those guys do, they start freaking winning. They start winning a lot. You
well,
don't always get a Hakuho that can do both with ease. And he can do Oshi style and Yoti style, and he can throw. He can do whatever he wants. Those kind of people don't come along very often. They just don't.
yeah.
They just don't.
Well, new boy Hokuseiho, speaking needs to get a bit of a stronger touch. Sure, he's a mountain of a man, and his waistline is at my eyebrows, but fucking, I just he can't. I mean, it works, so it's like you can't tell him it doesn't work. But
Yeah.
at the same, you know what I mean? Like his wins kind of reinforce his laziness at the touch eye. Like, because he's like, well, why should I? Look, nobody can get me over. I just could see so much. I could see him being so much more uh if he had better form.
What you're feeling right now is why I've hated Abby for so long. Besides the last, I'd say 3 or 4 tournaments.
Mhm.
The reason why I just had pain in my side is because that man was gifted with so much physical talent. It's insane. But that made him sloppy on his technique, and those people didn't even notice because he was up at the top. He was wrestling the top guys. Like before he got in trouble, he was still wrestling the top guys and doing well. And so
Yeah.
people didn't notice. And I was like, no, watch him wrestle. Watch him lean over. Watch him be up on his toes. Watch him bouncing stuff around. His technique is not good. And because he's winning, he doesn't notice.
Yes,
And
exactly. His
it's the same
wins
thing.
confirm. He's like, well, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like,
Yeah.
no, but you could be so much more.
So what we're hoping for is something happen like what happened to Abi recently, where he came all the way back to Sanyaku, and then they figured him out and started knocking his butt down, and then he finally clicked in his head. Okay, I need to not lean so far forward. I need to get my feet flat. I need to wrestle with good technique. We need something like that for Akaseho. And I don't know what's going to happen because he's done so well without good technique so far. And like I said about Abi, it happens to people in all sports. If you're athletically gifted and you just kick butt without, then who's going to tell you to do something differently? Oh, you know what you're talking about? Well, look at me kicking all these people's butts.
Yeah.
Like they don't know. They don't know that they could be even freaking better if they just do better.
Can you imagine Hokuseiho with just like, just beautiful form, legs bent, like just
Jumping
unbeatable.
off hitting people.
Coming off hitting people with that kind of length. His hand, I mean, just the hit alone, like a hit and then extend them out. Oh man.
I can't imagine because that's Akibono. He would be Akibono if he did
I
that.
get it.
Akibono is the fastest rising Yokozuna ever. He did it in 30 tournaments. From first tournament to the last, he got 30 tournaments to get into the Yokozuna. And it's because he was physically lifted like that guy, and he would come off and just hit people. And like you said, he would extend and just boom, you're out of the ring in seconds. And it was
Yeah.
fantastic to watch because like people
Straight
like
off
that don't
of
exist.
Tachiai, guys at their height, straight off of Tachiai, you instantly, if he connects with you right, you instantly lose a step. And
Yeah.
then one step back, at best you got one, two, like two more before you're edge fighting. It's like boof, 1, 2. And you're like, oh shit. It's like, I don't know. When I fight Sam, his blast, when his blast connects, I'm already like 1 foot out in the grave, and I'm just like, ah.
Dude, me too. And I'm a big man. I don't know how he knocks me up and back so hard, but he's talented as hell. Okay, so as Justin mentioned earlier, this is another beer I've had around for a while. My brother Cade got it for me, the guy we mentioned, and it is a cool 8-bit punch out beer
Isn't that amazing, guys? Look
called
at it.
Heavy Hands. I've never tried it. This is my first go at this sucker.
I wonder if they got the rights to put that on there. I don't know.
Because it looks exactly like it. So
Yeah.
trouble if they well, I guess if nobody knows.
Yeah, I mean, if they're a local brewery and they sell out kind of fast. How is a 2-year-old beer?
Kind of like a berry? An IPA kind of thing? What is this?
Oh.
I don't know. It did not
Caleb's mystery beer.
didn't have a description besides heavy hands. And it's pretty good though. I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it, that's for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all you need.
Okay, we're going to cut in to some questions that we're getting from people online. First one comes from Bart Harris.
Okay.
Who is on track to be the next Yokozuna? We already talked about Zeki's, and so your guess on the people right now, whether they be top division, second division, maybe even someone lower, who do you think is on track to be the next Yokozuna?
Asano Yama.
Okay, I figured you pick him.
That's all I'll say.
I have to be just being media and we're trying to entertain people. I have to be the devil's advocate then, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So why Asanayama over some of the guys? Why him over Takesho, who has had 2 belt runs, who's had multiple U shows, multiple 12 wins. He's had 13 wins. Why Asanayama?
His build.
So his build.
Yes.
You think he's pretty? He has the right.
Yeah, he's got the champion build.
So yeah, but that's still my issue. He never beat Terunofuji. Terunofuji wiped the floor with him a bunch of times. He had
Well,
one
okay, but
show,
he's gone through the
12
gauntlet.
wins,
Yeah.
but has never done that since. Has
I'm
never
telling
got
you.
more than 11 since.
Well, then he
Or
got
before.
knocked down. Listen,
No. That was a long time ago. He was there at Ozeki for a long time.
We're talking about now, though. We're talking about
That's
now,
what
though.
I'm talking about now. He
I'm
also was in
saying,
the third
watch
division.
his
How
comeback.
many titles did he get in the third division for a Yokozuna?
True.
It is an issue.
Yes, yes. But all of this is it's forging steel. I'm telling you,
It's
he
possible.
yeah, wait, just watch his performance and watch his rise. And then when he becomes Yokozuna, all of you guys are gonna be like, fuck, I hate that Justin was right. And I'm gonna be like, sweet,
I
sweet.
think most people agree with you. I'm just always worried about him because he didn't show me enough. And
Mm.
maybe he's grown out of that. It's
Not
possible.
gonna be, yeah, it's
But he's
had he
also
not
almost
gone through what
30.
he went through, I think that he would have probably stayed subpar. But being knocked down to the bottom of the mountain and having to fucking crawl your way back up,
But see,
fucking
I don't think that did either. If anything did it, it was when he didn't win the third division the first time and said, "Oh, I'll win it next time," and then he didn't win the second time. I think something there pissed him off.
yeah,
Gets
that's
Jurio and goes 14-1. And then
it's
I think he did 13-2 his last one and got, a junior show out of the division two.
and then almost won this one, but Ichinojo got his ass.
No, it wasn't two. He was 12-3, right? He was 12-3. But still, that's pretty damn good in Jurio, especially this Jurio with great freaking talent, which we'll get to
Yeah.
later. Um, I just think he's never shown me enough. I know he has the talent. It's not the talent I question at all. Yokozuna, like if we can take the will and the heart and the fight of freaking Takeisho and put it in the body and talent of Asayama, they would have already been a
Oh yeah,
Yokozuna
yeah,
king.
he has a perfect person. I know, I know.
But we he
You've got to humble the will into Asanoyama. Apparently, he's got to take enough fucking lickings, but from a bunch of young, junior dudes to be like, God damn it, I'll take however he comes to his realization of his potential. I'll take it. You
yeah.
know, and that's how I feel. And if it takes getting humiliated for him to wake up and slap himself and be like, God damn, I know I'm better than this, then I'll take it. I'm here for the long ride.
Okay, for me, I'm still on the Takeisho train, just because he's already been there twice. I know it seems at this point that his body just can't handle it, and that may be true. He wouldn't be the first
Is
Ozeki
my
body.
only argument.
Yeah,
I have now in the past 2 years have sucked up my pride and said, yeah, shit, Takagesho is pretty good. It's those injuries.
and there's plenty of Ozekis who's had that issue. They couldn't get that last step because their body just can't hold out long enough to get
Yes.
to get there, and that might be him. And there's nothing to shame about that. But I also my thing is he's still younger than the Wakatai Kage. He's still younger than Hoshoryu. He's 26. He's just people don't realize that because he's been there for so freaking long.
Yeah.
You got those like at
His
22.
body injuries keep telling me, and it's because he goes so hard, and I respect that he goes so hard, but like he's 26. I guess yeah, he's gonna keep healing fast in his 20s, but I don't know. I just see him as a Goedo, just like a very honorable longtime Ozeki these days.
I probably won't give up to him until it's like 28 or so, because usually most people hit their athletic peak between like 28, 29, around that area for most guys. So I expect if at that point he still can't just get past the hump of being healthy, then I at that point I probably do. But that's still 2 years. I'm still 2 years into
Okay,
case.
okay. We'll revisit that.
Oh, there's nothing we can do but revisit that. That was a good question. Thank you, Bart Harris. At some point, I would like to have Bart Harris on the show because he's one of the original Texas Sumo guys, and I would love to get the original guys on here. Him and Tom Zabel and John Hildago. But for now, we'll go on to a different question. These are fun. This is from a guy named Brandon Braithwaite. Braithwaite. What is the name of the ring? The name of the ring is a doyo. The sumo ring is called a doyo. What is the name of the belt? The belt is a
It's
mawashi.
a diaper.
Mawashi.
It's a jockstrap.
Mawashi.
It's a thong.
This one I actually like. What is the ring made of? Okay, so the ring they're actually standing on is a clay. Originally, it was clay from a certain Japanese river, but now they kind of like ship it in because
Well, I mean, are they saying the technical actual ring? Because then that's
that is rice bells that
rice
they
bales with with clay in it, and then
clay
they roll it up like a blunt.
in it. Never thought of it that way, but yes, they do.
I mean, it might. I'm not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. But yeah, so it's clay surface. They put some loose sand on it, and then you wrestle on that sucker. Uh I had never been able, I've stood on one, but I've never actually got to wrestle on a clay ring. So you had to talk to Justin about what
It's
those
different.
I
Because
know
there's like a loose layer, and it's better when it's wet. It's better when it's wet. But if it's dry and hard and packed, and then it's got that soft sandiness, I'd say like the ring I fought on in Taiwan was better than the ring we fought on at the World Games. The World Games one was like hard as rocks, and then but then like with an excessive amount of the sandy layer.
I didn't feel like the sand layer was wet too. It didn't look like it. It looked like
No,
it was
it was not
dry
wet. No,
sand,
it was
which
dry.
it makes it
It was
slippier. Even if you have a
dry.
lot of sand, if you get it damp on top, it should be fine. But I noticed through Butsukari, the push drill, where someone you see it sometimes, where someone receives somebody and they hit them and they push them on mats that we wrestle on. Most of the world wrestles on because we can't all build clay dojos. Uh, you kind of walk back. You kind of give impression you kind of walk back when they hit you. On clay, it's more like a human sled. Like they just slide back, and
Yeah,
when you look at that, it's a huge difference in the feel of the ring. If you can't slide back on a freaking mat, then and you are sliding back on clay, it's got to be way slippier.
yep.
But
It is.
that is the ring. Those are what we made of, and that's what they are called. So from Zombie Mombi herself, she's.
Hey,
Do you think Kiriyama will be in Ozeki after the next Basho? Who will drop down the Jurio? And what happened to my little green man? We kind of did the Ozeki thing already.
Yeah.
Let's start with what the heck happened to my little green mountain?
The Waka Bros happened to him.
The Waka Bros kind of killed his awesome momentum, didn't they?
Yeah, and you could see it in you could see it in his face, and I don't know, like just those two dudes alone, just kind of it took the wind out of his sails, and he kind of started. I don't know, even when he was coming up and and preparing for the match, he was kind of like, can I do this? Like, no, I wanted to just go in the just run up to the ring and just like slap and be like, you're a little king. Come
Come on, Short King.
on, little short king. But no, yeah, that those two brothers knocked the freaking wind out of his sails, and he just did not believe that he could take on Daisho, and it just
But yeah, Midori Fuji just he fought those two matches well.
yeah,
The two against the Wakas, but
the
they just beat him.
second one was, or the first one was better than the second one. I think, which I'm trying to, God, I don't know which Waka it was.
I know they were back to back, so they blurred to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought both of them were still well fought. It was after that he didn't seem to have the same fire.
No, his second. I'm sorry. His second one was better fought, and it was weird because he ended up getting twisted out. The second Waka Bro, Waka Takakage. Okay, now I'm remembering the match. He was just really smart at keeping him moving. He kept angling, kept angling,
That's
and
good Waka. Yeah, that's good Waka.
which
That's when he's at his best. Watakage is
yeah,
when he's moving.
it was just like Midori Fuji just could not catch a break and square off with him. It was just constant angling, and then there was just one final angle that just got him like, oh shit, he was like turned this way, and then fucking Waka just like boop, put him on his butt. He ended up, but he did stop himself. It was actually really cool to see him, even with all that force, right on the edge. He like just planted himself, but it just wasn't enough because he was already facing that way, and
Oh,
I
I
was,
remember that. I remember
I
that.
was like, well, it was a good save, but but Waka was right on his ass.
That's when he looks good.
It was
Because
good.
both Haas and Watai Kage, the reason why they haven't made Ozeki yet was because they seem to have a hard time that first week. They get like two or three losses that first week, and
Got to get in the groove.
you
Yeah,
got to get group early because
yeah.
Watai Kage lost five, the first five this tournament, and came back and almost got eight until his knee injury. They are
Yeah.
so good, both of them.
Once they get
However,
in the
you
groove.
gotta start off. And it's the thing that those top guys talk about. I remember reading that about Hakuho. He said, "Look, the things I'm mostly worked about is those first few days, losing matches because it's hard. And when you think about it, it has to be because they're taking on not the best they're going to take on. That's the last, say, 5 days.
Yeah.
But the second best guys they're taking on is like the first 5 days. The middle
Yeah.
of the tournament, they're pretty. They kick the shit out of those guys. But those the first 5 days and those last 5 days, those are hard for those guys, and you gotta get past that somehow. But but I believe Midori Fuji just lost it. He just lost it after those two losses. Like you said, just didn't have what it takes to get back through his head. But those first 10 matches in a row that he won
Yeah.
were so exciting. To
Yes.
see this little short guy beat
He
some
he
very
he
good.
defied all odds. He defied all odds. I mean, like his match when like there was a couple times, like I said, oh shit, him versus Aoyama. I was like, oh man, Aoyama's gonna crush his ass. Nope. And you know what? But every single time, this is what I respect about him, and what I think Kotoeko and Inho should take note in their Tachiai. He is the only one of the three short kings that just goes in fearlessly head first, and then and then figures out the rest. You know, Kotoeko super cautious in his Tachiai, which ends up making him and getting him into these weird sloppy positions. Inho zero Tachiai, just it's just a tactical kind of like boop, just so that he can kind of get around to the side. He's either deflecting the arms or just slapping and then hitting under. He's got more of like an Uda style, like no Tachiai. It's just this stand up and kind of parry for the right position kind of thing. But Midori Fuji has proven that even at 5'7", you'll be okay charging in. I don't know why Kotoeko won't do it. And I understand, Inho's got his own signature style, but I swear he proves that short wrestlers can still go in head to head and go hard with these guys, and then figure out their style if they can get up and under, and then kind of box them out. Like shit, I don't know. Inho can do his funky, his crazy leg stuff. Hit first, figure out the leg stuff after.
Yeah,
So that's why I was Midori Fuji.
I kind of agree with that. I kind of like when I teach people nowadays, I always tell them the 3 point contact tachi is the most versatile. If you get this down, everything else becomes easier.
Yeah,
You can do
yes.
different tachi later. Like if you can get this down and make everybody think that hey, this is powerful, then if you sidestep or move under or do some other kind of tachi, they're thinking about okay, he's about to hit me hard.
Oh, I'll just take it and then
Yeah.
figure out life. That doesn't fly. So that's why I love him. I'm bummed that he slipped, and I guess we already answered your questions on me, mommy, but the Waka Bros knocked the wind out of his sail. But still, he is the shit. Uh uh
Okay, so this is great. We got a bunch of questions from my brother Cade Baccus, who we talked about a lot today. And it's weird because he didn't know much about sumo, but I like his question so far. This first question. Much like soccer, If the top American athletes cared to participate in sumo, we would dominate, right? That's his question. And my answer is probably when I see
Wait,
what the
wait.
Hawaiians did.
If a top American, like a top American soccer player,
No, no, no. Like soccer,
like
which we
soccer.
most of our top athletes don't compete in soccer. We don't. We go to other sports. If our top athletes, the guys who do American football, basketball, powerlifting, those things that we really love in America,
Oh, okay,
those
okay.
guys went to sumo. Would we kick some ass?
A lot of that has been like they'll. I don't know if you've watched. There's some of those theories have been slightly proven. Like I think they had Tom Brady go over there and do a few matches a few years back with Hakuho.
Yeah,
Uh, and but then there was a few MMA guys who tried to, who went and did sumo, fought sumo by sumo rules. I
but those guys, they're doing sumo for the first time. It's not really the same thing as
just say
I'm going to that
take
sport.
take
My
it up.
thing is, we've seen the Hawaiians, we've seen the Samoans, who now usually go to American football. We saw them whoop the shit out of people in the '90s. I think they would keep doing it if they wanted to. Honestly, a lot of the Hawaiians and Samoans and stuff we still could get us. And there's a lot of power guys like in power and like strongman competitions. Like the top 8 are Americans.
Yeah,
They're big, strong
I
motherfuckers.
think, and but strength isn't everything.
I
I
know it's
would.
not
Here's
everything,
what I
but
would say. I would put our best judo, like our heavyweight judo guy, or the best, or a heavyweight American wrestler, Olympic, like an Olympic wrestler, if he just plopped out of, I would put my money on them excelling well in sumo, judo or our top Olympic judo or wrestling wrestlers going into sumo. I would put my money on that, on
I would
them excelling.
I would put my money on American linemen, American football linemen, because especially the offensive linemen, they understand leverage better than almost anybody, well, except for maybe sumo. But no, I think they're at the same place as sumo because you will see offensive linemen who are not the biggest guys in the world kick the shit out of 300-pound men, and they do that through leverage. They understand, okay, yeah, he's bigger, but if I hit him here and underneath him, I can drive him off to the side, and the running back can come through. And they know how to do that shit against some great athletes. And
Well, ESPN, make that happen, please. Get some pro sumo and NFL guys, put them in the ring. Let's
they there's a guy back in the '90s. His name was Mark Stepnoski. He was a center for the Cowboys, and I wish I could find highlights of him, but it's hard because people weren't recording offensive linemen back then. Everybody records quarterbacks and running backs and receivers, the guys that get the ball, and these are the
Mhm.
guys that blow people out the way for the guys that get the ball.
Yeah.
And I wish I can get footage of him to show to all sumo wrestlers and go, look at this guy. Look how he was like 5'9". He was like 260, 270. So he was like the what you would call a short king on your Breakfast and Boss show. That's what he was. And you see him beat people over and over again because he would just get in the right position. He just understood it. He's like, okay, if I get right here, I'm gonna kill somebody right here. There's guys like that I think would just be fantastic. The only thing is that it's footwork is the only big difference between being a lineman in football and sumo. Because sumo is just as much about balance as it is about strength and speed.
Yes.
And football balance is there, but strength and speed's way more important because you gotta knock people out the way before the running back comes through, or the quarterback has to throw the ball away. So you got to get done. You don't have time. So
Speaking of football, shout out to Hanada, my boy. I'm
uh,
so excited to see footage of him playing football. And I don't know a lick about football, but I saw him. I want to say he was offensive line. I don't
he
know,
was
but
defensive
or
line,
something.
and he was
I think we were the pack.
at the CFL Combine, the Canadian Football League Combine, which is good. It's the second highest league in football. So then they wrote articles in Canada about like, wow, this guy is unbelievably athletic and flexible. Like they
Yeah.
were, I read articles of them like going, he's as flexible as a child, well, like a little child. How is he this flexible? And I'm like, yeah, sumo.
Sumo. They clearly don't know. I'm hoping he I'm hoping he still remains an ambassador for our sport. I mean, of course, he loves football, but I would love for him to expose international sumo, and hopefully they show clips of him at the World Games and things like that. Like as he makes his progression into the NFL, I just hope he never forgets his roots and keeps pushing for that kind of shit. And then if he makes a bunch of fucking money, then he can make like a really cool stable or something.
Yeah,
Get back.
what his plans are right now is to find a way to get into the NFL and play football for like 4 or 5 years, and then go to professional sumo before the cutoff date. So by the time he's 25, 26, go back to professional
Are
sumo.
you serious? He wants
That,
to come back to sumo?
that's what he hopes to do, to play like a few years in football where he loves, and then go back to do sumo. But like sumo, there's a cutoff date. And so, and there's no way
Yes,
he can
yes,
learn
yes,
football fast enough, to do it like so like right now he's like, I gotta see if I can make the NFL next year or two. And then by the time I'm 25, 26, and that first contract's done with, I just go back to Japan and do sumo then. That's like his plan. I don't know
He
if
will
he's gonna pull it
be.
off, but wouldn't
I,
that be awesome?
it would be it's idealistic, but
It's
realistically,
gonna be unbelievably hard, and usually he would have to take an insanely great athlete, but he seems like an insanely great athlete.
well,
So
he
we'll
is.
see.
He is.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. I never want to limit somebody. I mean, because but that's a high bar. Shit. But if he does it, and he's got that clout, man, he'll bring some excitement to sumo. He'll get him being in the NFL will get even that much more people watching pro sumo, if he makes it in time for the cutoff.
Oh yeah,
Hope
I know. I agree.
we might have another reinsert, like another surge of watching sumo like in the 90s.
Yeah,
Like
like yeah, I agree
that.
completely. I'm going to my next beer, and this is another one from my brother Cade Baccus. Road Trip Snacks, ale brewed with beaver nuts. It has like kind of a Texas road there, and a guy eating nuts in a trailer. We're gonna try this sucker out, and while I'm trying this out, I'm going to question number 2 from Cade Baccus. What American athlete, I guess I don't know if he means all time or just ones currently who are great athletes, would make the best sumo wrestler?
Currently, or
Let's
just
go. Let's go with all time, and then we'll do. Oh no, let's go with currently, and then we'll go with all time. Let's do both. He didn't ask that. Just what? So, which one do you think of American athletes do you know of? Oh my God, this does taste like beaver nuts. Like you,
why do you like beaver nuts in your mouth? What's going on? Where have you been?
have you never been to Bucky's?
I've been to Bucky's, but I don't.
Bucky's has a snack called Okay. Bucky's has a snack called beaver nuts, and they're freaking delicious. I can't believe you don't know. This really does taste like beaver nuts like, in a beer form. This is pretty freaking awesome. Okay, I'm sorry. Off track. Go ahead, Justin. Athlete do you think? Current athlete that you've seen in, I don't know. What sports do you watch? You watch martial arts, so MMA or judo or anything.
No, I don't really watch MMA anymore. Just judo, sumo, and that's about it.
It's gotta be an American judo guy you think would be pretty good.
Probably judo.
Wow.
I don't know. This you stumped me because I can't name an American athlete that I like. I don't know who's flexible. You got me. Go ahead, Caleb.
Okay. Do you have one from an all time? All
Um,
time American athletes
my kitty.
that you think would make a great sumo wrestler?
She would. Look at her wrestle. Look at her wrestle right now.
All
Look at that. Look at that. Pew. Oh, look at the agility.
right, all right. So currently, there's a guy who retired just a few years ago named Joe Thomas. He was an offensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns. I think would have been insanely good. sumo wrestler. He, like I said before, he understands pressure. He understands to get to somebody's side to beat them. He understood just how to move people around really well. And you got to know that in sumo. And so I think he would have been really, really good. Uh, all time, though, and this is again from football, there's a running back for the Steelers named Jerome Bettis. He was a huge man. He held his weight the way you want sumo guys to do. Like his weight came low, and he was a huge guy. He was called the Bus. That was his nickname because they're like, well, the team just gets on his back and he just runs into the end zone. But he was a running back, which is crazy because you think I'd pick a lineman, but running backs need balance, and he was a huge man who also had insane balance and flexibility. Like he would hit people, and you would see him kind of just bend in weird ass ways to get around them. I think he would be a great sumo wrestler. Or if he didn't pick football, he would have gone or wanted to do sumo. I think he would have been fantastic.
Good
I
answers.
hopefully am showing you footage of these guys, so I don't just sound like I'm talking about my ass. But we got one more question from Cade Baccus. Besides wearing a mawashi, what's the most difficult part about being a sumo wrestler?
Well, first off, there is nothing wrong with wearing a mawashi, or nothing hard about wearing a mawashi. It's the
It's
only
hard for people at first, but it feels natural later. I know that sounds crazy to people, but
yeah, it molds to you like a baseball glove. What's the hardest thing?
yeah, what is the most difficult part about being a sumo wrestler?
Hmm. Patience.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Patience can be hard.
Uh, in a lot of things, like getting getting to the top, getting your wins, and not being too anxious off the not being too anxious off the touch, patience overall, like being able to control and stay calm in a lot of things in your sumo career and in the middle of a match. And yeah, patience. That's what I'll say.
For me, flexibility. You have to be
Ah,
extremely
goddamn, that too.
flexible, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to keep it when you get older. It's hard to get it back when you're trying to do sumo. Flexibility is an insane part of sumo, and it's really difficult. Also, just moving the way sumo wrestlers do is hard because you're it's not natural to move while sliding your feet and your feet wide apart.
Yep.
You want to keep them together. It's naturally you want to do that. You naturally want to put your elbows up, but this is dangerous in sumo. You can't do this, and it's not as strong as this. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff in sumo that you have to like work around. Striking people. Here's the most different thing between sumo and any martial art I've seen. When a martial art is striking, and all the other martial arts I know of, they are moving their hips and they're stepping with the opposite leg that their punch or
Yep.
strikes are coming from.
Yep. Yep.
However, you can be really out of balance doing that. And so in sumo, you're moving your same foot that you're stepping with is what you're striking with. So that someone, if you miss, you're not actually overextending yourself, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And so that's another thing, because that's against walking. Even when you walk, you're moving your opposite arms and legs. And in this one, you're kind of trying to move the arm and the leg together. So it's a whole like coordination thing that's different that I think is sumo that makes it difficult.
Yeah. It's funny watching new people come to class and like watching them try, and they're like, a beep, boop, beep. I don't know what I'm doing with
Especially
my.
now because we're so used to it at this point that like
Yeah.
remember what it was like to like not being able to move like that. Yeah,
I was like,
you're
no,
right.
same arm, same leg. They're like, ah.
I think it's always funny, not always, because I rarely see it, but a few times I've seen it. Some people squat too much, and I don't know how to convince them not to squat so much. Like they're almost sitting down doing suriyashis. And I'm like, no, that's not helpful. You're not gonna be fighting like while you're sitting on your ankles, dude. You gotta stand up a little bit.
I mean, unless you're Edibo, who can still generate power sitting on his ankles.
Okay, but I doubt people can do that, and I still would tell Elbow not to do that because I'm like, no, that's
But I've seen him, I think in San Diego, where he like I was like, his butt is 3 inches from the floor, and he bounced out of it. I was like, who the fuck does this? Oh, so weird. Anywho,
Okay,
these.
so our next question comes from Matt Shields.
Hey, Matt.
Uh, do you give any credence to the theory of streaks? Like if you're winning and you're just gonna keep winning, and then if you're losing, you're just gonna keep losing.
Depends on your in the losing side of things, your mental resilience. Some of in general, most people on a losing streak stay in a losing mindset. Some of the greats can go from a losing streak, snap them like Hakuho, several people who have had losing streaks or any sport who have had losing streaks and know how to snap out of it. And if it's a team sport, rally the team to an insane win, or rally them, or if you're a boxer or whatever and you're down and just come out from behind and
Yeah,
the greats can snap themselves out of what looks like it's going to be a wash and turn it on. But it's a rare breed of an athlete who do that, and it's amazing to watch people do that. Yeah, I mean, look at I don't know. Well, yeah, it just look at any
I
sports
would.
history, any of these people that
Oh yeah,
that mentality. It takes a certain type of person to snap themselves out of losing streaks. Guys like Shodai, which is why when he goes on a hard losing streak, it's hard for him to snap out of that.
yeah.
Well, no, no. Well, he'll catch a few wins at the end, but it'll most of the time it'll be too late. Once he starts losing, you could see his mind stay in a losing mentality for a while.
I think we saw a good example of both the winning and losing with Midori Fuji in this last tournament. He got some wins really early on, and he just looked like every day he was confident he was going to win the next match. And
Caught
then,
them 2 L's.
yeah, he got 10 freaking wins doing that. Just like, and I think it was because the first 3 or 4 he won, he was just like, oh, yes, I could do this. Every day he came in, it's like, yeah, I can win. As we mentioned before, he lost twice to the Walker brothers. And after that, he came in, you saw in his face, he wasn't sure if he could do it.
He was deflated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so streaks are a big thing for most people.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, like you said, the greats pull out. I mean, that's just what they do.
They just pull. It's a certain type of person that can pull
And it's,
themselves together
it's
mentally.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay, what I
Yeah.
was gonna say was like it's almost a streak at that point because some people just believe they're gonna win even after they lose. I think that's why, as you mentioned earlier, Tom Brady just kept winning championships. It's because he believed after the first few, it was like, and he got him so early on in his career, there was like, no, I think we're gonna win. I don't see how we would lose, even after a bad season, after an injury or anything. He's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna win. After he even moved teams to another team, and he still won a Super Bowl. He's like, he believed in his head, I'm gonna win. I'm going to win. And that's kind of a streak because at some point the great ones just realize, no, I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
And that's what their mentality is all the time. It's like, oh, well, I lost stage fine. I'm still gonna win. I know I am. Some people are like that. Don't you wish we were?
Damn. I'm kind of like that, but then oof, get that taste of an L, and it's not a good feeling.
No, it is not. So the last question I think I have on here, Mark Jones. Congratulations, Mark Jones.
Mark Jones.
Do you think the new tall guy is going to have continued success, or do you think the rest of Rikishi will figure him out? By new tall guy, I'm assuming he means Hakuseho.
Okuseho, yeah. I'm
Six
gonna
foot nine.
say I'm gonna say we've touched on this.
We did
Uh,
touch on this, but we
but
didn't. We touched on what he did. Do you think he'll have continued success?
I say at his physique, by default, yes. That's unfortunate Now my hope, because physically nobody has a higher center of gravity than him, and then there's people who put forth 100% effort and do, excuse me, and do everything right, and they're mid-sized guys, a little bit taller guys. They're doing everything right, and it defies all odd that he's able to stay in. So it's annoying that I want to say yes, and I just want to say, if he humbles himself and learns a bit more technique, he will be unstoppable. I have a feeling he won't do that for a while. I think he's gonna. My hope, Mark Jones. My hope is that one person, has that thing that figures him out, and and it and maybe a couple people figure it. I want him to lose to win more. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, and I think he will. I mean, I agree with you for the most part. I think that when he gets into the joy and starts taking on the Sanyaku on a regular basis, I think they're going to find ways to beat him.
Wait till he touches a Teruno Fuji. Teruno Fuji with a good knee at his same height with twice his strength. He gonna teach that man real quick.
I think the short, explosive guys can also beat him. Not Taikesho and people who are like Taikesho who just blow people up. They don't just hit and try to drive. They like explode into people. I think they're gonna start beating him because he's so used to just getting that belt and holding on. And those guys who are the best at that that explosion style don't let people get to their belts very often. And
yeah,
they're gonna be like, okay, I'm not sure what to do here. And I believe a few other people will figure him out too. Some of those top guys like Haas and Wakata Kage and stuff. I think they're gonna do it.
I don't
And
know.
that's gonna be his first taste of
Haas
no.
needs to get his belt, and that's a long road to that man's belt. And I think Haas is gonna have a real problem with him.
But most people get to his belt because he doesn't care if you do, because he's so strong and stuff. But he's not used to people like Haas that can like mess him up or
no, but think about Haas. Haas needs certain angles and to get to get hip throws. If the middle of your back is at his dick, like that's fine. Like what leverage can you get?
I don't know. Kiriyama, I think, might actually do really well against him too, because that always moving style that Kiriyama has, just like I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. He doesn't like slow down and let you just like relax. So to like find the thing, which is what Hakuseho wants usually, is to slow everything down until he knows. Okay, I'm gonna throw you this way.
Yeah.
It's possible that you're right. I just think I think when he gets in the joy, he's gonna have a difficult issue, which after Tim wins, it's gonna be pretty soon.
I hope so. He needs to be taught. Ah, shit! I can't just be a big guy. Damn it! And he's not I'm not saying a big guy. He's like, oh, I can't just be a tall guy, kind of thing. Anyhow.
Okay, that is all for our internet questions. Isn't that interesting?
Thank you, Mark Jones. And I'm side note, very, very excited to watch you in Tokyo, because him and I have talked privately. I think he will do well. Let's just put it that way. And especially given that Russia and two of Japan's best are gone. Daiki is now gone pro with Kisano Sato. And as we know, Haneda is in football, and we already scratch out Russia for their terrible war. I won't get into any politics, but
yeah, there's another college Yokozuna that also just joined again. I don't remember his name though, because I never heard of him before, but he just joined a stable too. So the thing is, Japan. Even with them being like, hey, not a lot of people join professional sumo anymore, they still seem to produce some of the best,
Well,
especially in heavyweights.
but think of, I mean, it's like anything, it's like soccer for South Americans. It's like football or baseball for America. When there's a culture of it that allows you to grow
Basketball
up into yeah, sure.
for
Listen,
Americans, we're insanely good at that shit.
sorry, basketball for Americans. But I'm saying when there's a culture of it that allow you to understand to learn the mechanics of it from a child. You do it in middle school, you do it in high school, and it it's why I wish this sport there was, that this is why we push so hard for youth. I wish it became a more cultural thing so that they get exposed to it early, and then they become just insane. And the difference between like really skilled and insanely skilled, it's these little nuances that had to have it just comes over time, and
Yeah, tournaments.
yeah, it just and they look so insanely comfortable on the clay in these big tournaments. They're very comfortable there. um but I think Mark Jones, this nationals, he looked in his zone, and I hope as long as he stays in that zone, he looked great. He looked very, very great. Um, yeah, that's all I'll say. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. So okay, we're gonna do our normal stuff now. We're gonna get back to some fun times. For I got this weird thing, literally named Kinky.
Pink.
Aloha.
All right.
Coconut lime and pineapple flavors. I don't know. It was in my fridge. I shall drink it and see what happens.
I would never drink it because I despise coconut.
Really? I despise the texture of coconut, but I like the flavor, if that makes sense to you. Like the texture of coconut's terrible to me. I hate it. And you always see me like coconut shavings and stuff? No. But the flavor I actually kind of enjoy.
There's like almond joys. There's like anything with coconut, just barf town to me.
Whoa, that's too much coconut.
Yeah.
It's
See, I
almost
know.
all I can barely taste the pineapple and alcohol. It's almost all coconut. It's like drinking coconut water. God damn. Okay. I don't think I'll ever drink this again, but I'm gonna keep drinking it right now because I opened it. Wait, what are we talking about?
I don't know.
Okay, sumo.
Wrapping stuff up. What we got?
We are. There were some great matches, guys. Lokamara Horo looked freaking amazing. Shoyu did not. Uh,
Oh,
uh, but I think their match was probably my favorite match. I think it was day 13 or 14. Was probably my favorite match of the entire freaking tournament. Like that is my match of the tournament. It didn't even last long. They just hit perfectly, right?
yeah.
And they both got themselves into position. And then Waka like turned Hashoryu, and then Hashoryu turned back, and then Hashoryu did the throw,
Yeah. But he
and it
did
was
it. He did it throw
perfection.
like this like lean.
And then you see Waka's like legs come up. It was like you would see something on like a drawing of someone making the throw. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yep.
how cool a throw would look. And that's why it's my match of the back show. It wasn't because it was just this hard fought important match. It was just like so pretty to see that few seconds of sumo that I don't think a lot of people who don't really love sumo or don't participate in sumo would understand why awesome a quick 5 second match like that could be so awesome because I mean they were both like just
A lot of people
ducked
have
into
to watch it
position.
back in slow motion to understand the beauty. Like we could see it in full motion, be like, holy fuck, holy shit. That and because it's so fast, if you don't do, yeah, like you say, if you don't do sumo, you're like, wow, what just happened? You're
Yeah,
like, do you know how hard it is to pull that off?
show something like that, especially in that level, because they are good at keeping their weight low and keeping their balance. So show you had to like read that perfectly. Boom. Mhm. It was gorgeous, especially against someone who was killing it, like Walker Hard was this entire tournament. It was the best tournament I've seen him have. You
Yeah.
know, it was by far his best tournament. I don't know. I think he got 10, 11 wins. Don't care if he had gotten like 8 or 9. He wrestled so gorgeous this entire time. He still has that more. Well, I say boring sumo not because I think it's boring. I call it boring sumos because I realized that's why none of us noticed him while he was coming up because he
Yeah.
just kept coming up and kept winning, and none of us noticed because he didn't do
Didn't
anything
do anything
amazing.
flashy. Yeah. He's like the Tim Duncan of sumo.
Yes, like we said last time, he's the Tim Duncan of sumo. He does the
Like,
right stuff
hey,
perfectly.
he doesn't do these crazy overarching dunks, but he puts points on the
Yeah,
board.
but
And
does that layup and that little bank shot just over and over again. Like, yeah, no, it's in. It's in.
then little do you know, oh God, why did the Spurs keep winning back in the early 2000s?
Because when you do the right stuff right, it's just high percentage wins.
Yes.
Oh man, now I can't wait. Thank God tomorrow's Tuesday. I need sumo. I need to just get into the ring and do something. You coming?
I have to go. I have 3 things I have to do afterward. Uh
Mm.
Liesel is Miss Liesel is leaving to Iceland.
Jesus
And
Christ.
I know she goes all over the world. But so I'm cat sitting, so I have to go pick up we helped Jackie move into her new place. She moved down south, close to us. She literally lives like right near Texas, which is
Nice.
dangerous. Um,
Good point, but still nice.
but the whole
Close
like
to
7 hours
practice too.
away. Yeah, I know she has no excuse now. I told her that multiple times. And so, anyways, she gave me a lot of free stuff, like a lot of workout stuff. So I'm gonna go pick up that stuff from Liesel's house, and then she'll give me instructions on watching her cat, and then I gotta go pick up mats I gotta go pick up the mats from Texas Hockey for this weekend. That's my Tuesday night.
Yeah, talk to people about this weekend because that should be fun.
Oh crap! Oh yeah, this weekend, eh, Asian Asian Market Fest
All
is a
right.
market festival. It is Friday and Saturday from 4 to 10 p.m. And it's gonna be out in like the northeast side of Austin, like in middle of buttfuck nowhere. But it's and but they're estimating anywhere from 15 to 20,000 people. There is 30 to 40 food trucks that are going to be there. The venue is huge. I mean, but being out in the middle of nowhere is the advantage because you have a lot of space. It's called
True.
the brushy the Brushy Creek Amphitheater, something
Yeah.
like that. Yes, the Brushy
And
Creek.
being out there, like you said, is going to be helpful because you can get the food truck. Because I found out from our Asian Fest before when it was outside, we had all these foods, and then they moved it to Rolling Oaks Mall, and it went down to 3 food vendors, and it was like, okay, that's way different from like the 20, 30 you had before. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. The space and stuff makes a big difference sometimes.
And as you guys know, I mean, some of you guys who don't know, I would implore you guys, all you clubs, connect with the Asian communities within your cities because these things are it's beautiful recruitment for us. Hence, I mean, perfect example. San Antonio had theirs. Look, and now they have a national youth champion, Perry.
Yeah,
Dallas
very came done.
Dallas has theirs, and half of their team is from the is from the
The ones they had last year, they had Roller Town and stuff, and where they
and
got the Garza brothers and stuff, and then they got the other one where they got the girls. I mean, it was great.
so there's a little nugget of a little Texas secret for you right there. We are very connected with the Asian communities in all 4 of our cities.
Yes, yes. We're trying to get more connected because we are the Japanese Society of San Antonio, and we like to get more of the Asian stuff because there's like an Asian Fest going on in UTSA. We're hoping to get that later this year, uh, and we're trying to get into San Japan. We're hoping to get one day, which would be the day after Consulate Cup. It's an important thing. It's helped Texas grow sumo. Please do those kind of things because people who are interested in Japanese
No,
stuff
and we'll
come.
just keep growing.
Yeah, True that. This is wow.
I don't know how kinky the kinky is. That looks like semen. That's why it's kinky.
If the coconut pineapple, it might be. This
Just
might be.
sir, open your throat.
Carbonated semen, the thing we're gonna sell to people. These guys to eat pineapple and coconut and just like, all right, carbonate that shit. Give it to people. We'll call it kinky.
That's some kinky shit y'all doing back there. Yeah. Bro, let's call it kinky.
Oh, it is not easy to drink. I will finish it though, I promise. It's the hardest one tonight. Okay. So I think we're done. You didn't give a Fine Spirit Award, but we'll just do that next time.
My Fighting Spirit Award goes to Midori Fuji.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Should have known after the 10 straight victories. He should have gotten something in 10 straight victories. I was mad that they were like, he didn't win the last day, so we're not going to give him anything.
Yeah, I know how they were like, if he wins this one, I was like, oh, motherfucker. Okay. They should have just given it to him. But,
Yeah,
okay.
those 10 straight were freaking awesome. I have to admit, they were beautiful. So, next tournament, we're going to do some stuff next month too, in April.
Okay.
We don't know what yet, but get ready for something to come out on 420. And it should be fun. I just don't know what the hell we're going to talk about.
He won't know what the hell we're talking about.
It's a possibility, which we didn't do much tonight. We were kind of just drinking a lot, but it was fun for us. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. We're probably going to cut this and then drink and talk a little bit more before we have to go back to our normal lives.
Yeah. We gotta go to dinner.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. It's so late. Okay, guys. Love ya. See you next time on Sake and Sumo. Get your sumo on.
Close. Listen to Chuck Berry.
His live shit is amazing.